Hello, Pueblo people, and welcome to Fish Slap, a 5-year look back and celebration of all things FAS by First Aid Spray fans for Resident Evil fans. In this video, we will discuss everything that First Aid Spray means to us and how you have brought this community together. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
And now, reading really cool, a testimonial by Sean, is Luigi, who you can follow on Twitter at Lewis Rogers.
Congratulations on the First Aid Spray team for hitting 5 whole years of making awesome content. I first came across the podcast during the dire days of working in retail during the COVID-19 pandemic. Stacking shelves at 5 a.m. whilst listening to you all talk about Resident Evil and your experiences with the series, something that has been dear to me since a very young age, bringing back all that late 90s nostalgia. From there, it turned into me being a regular in the Discord and chatting with all of you wonderful people on an almost daily basis. Keep up the great work, and here's to another 5 years of excellent content and good times. Sean.
Hi. Hey everyone at First Aid Spray. Musa here. 5 years or more? God. Here's to another 5 more. Basically been around since... Usually I've tended to follow whatever kind of project size on, just because she's my friend, I've always kind of supported, and then got to meet a lot more interesting people as well, everyone from Steve to Most Outlet to KDB and lots of everyone else during the COVID times, where during the pandemic a lot of us were doing a lot of late gaming, and it helped and cemented some good online friendships. Of which, though we're not as, with everyone being busy at the minute, including in adult life and all that, but it's the fact that, no, we've still got the bond that was forged. And I owe First Aid Spray for that. I got to get to know a lot more about Resident Evil, actually learn to enjoy it, go over the fear of zombies a lot more, which that took time, but, I'm just glad you guys are growing strong and hoping to see another 5 or even 10 years worth of this. So otherwise, I guess in this case I could say a happy birthday, happy celebration, and to everyone at the Discord of First Aid Spray. You're all awesome. Take care.
Hi, Maverick here. So I started listening to the First Aid Spray podcast when, about 3 years ago, I would say. Was working in an airport, and I was just off the heels of Resident Evil 2, the remake, and I was just trying to find people talking about the game and stuff like that, and I came across a podcast, and I just got hooked. And then after that, I heard about the Discord. When I entered the Discord, the people were very friendly. The vibe was very nice. Everybody was asking me, what's your favorite game? What brought you to the franchise and what it means to you. And to be honest, the community is just nice. It's great. People in the whole Discord are very friendly, very welcoming. It's all fun and games when we play together, and it's just a very nice community, and it's a privilege to be a part of this community. And also the fact that everybody has a voice, nobody gets shut down for any reasons. People are very open-minded. The Pueblo people are very nice. You can talk to them. They're not unreachable. It's just nice to have a community that's so open and friendly to anybody in the group. And I hope that the podcast and the channel continues to grow. It's been growing for a while now, and I just wish you guys the best.
Hi guys, Luigi here. Just dropping you a quick message to wish you all a happy 5th anniversary. It's crazy to think that when I first started listening to you guys, I was driving 100 plus miles a day. And obviously I was looking for a podcast that I can listen to and just kind of engage with you guys, and I think I've achieved that and more. You know, it's great that I've been able to speak to all of you in very different ways, whether it be on the podcast, whether it be Discord, whether it be through COVID gaming nights. It's been a journey, not just for you guys probably, but for everyone who listens to you as well. I just want to say a massive thank you for being part of our lives and my life. And you're doing such a fantastic job, and you're fantastic human beings, or in certain case a baby owl. You know, thank you all, and I look forward to another 5 years of being part of this fantastic little community where we discuss life, the universe, and Resident Evil. See you later, guys.
And now, reading Cassandra's Mess, a testimonial by Yellow Gem Ecto, is Choji Akamichi, who you can find on Twitter at Choji Akamichi1. I remember my first experience of the First Aid Spray podcast. It was one of the first things I engaged with when I dipped my toes into the Resident Evil community for the first time in 2021. The thing is, I've been a Resident Evil fan ever since the PlayStation 1 era, but I never had any interest in joining fan sites or communities, as I just talk about it with friends in the offline world. It was only when Resident Evil Village dropped and Lady Dimitrescu reached the far corners of the internet that my interest was piqued about the wider community. Everybody seemed to be talking about this character, creating memes and funny videos. I watched with interest as Village caught the attention of the LGBTQ+ community on a scale like no other RA title has done before. How it resonated with the women who had gone through life feeling too tall or large, but were now feeling seen and appreciated. How female gamers in their 40s weren't feeling so self-conscious about their age online and were finding others in the Lady D age bracket to connect with and chat about this mature, majestic, central character. This welcoming vibe gave me the confidence to finally engage with the community and explore what was out there. It also inspired me to create and share content about one of the characters in the game whom I absolutely adore, Cassandra. During my search for quality content about the game, I came across the 2-part Village reaction episodes by First Aid Spray podcast. With the first part coming in at around 2 hours, I was curious about the podcast that would discuss something for so long. I remember going on a long walk while listening to part 1 to keep me company. I didn't expect it to be great or anything, I just wanted to listen to something about Village. But I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of conversation and how insightful and knowledgeable everyone was. They all seemed to wait their turn to speak or were given cues to put their thoughts forward. It felt very professional and organized, and Sai stood out as a great host who steered the conversation very well. My ears are quite sensitive to overlapping sounds and voices, so nothing puts me off a podcast more than when people overtalk others to make themselves heard. None of that chaos was present on the First Aid Spray podcast. Every time I listened once, I'd find the Village 2-parter was a relaxing and engaging experience. Over time, I became more familiar with the different members of the podcast in terms of their style of debate and interest, and there's not a single episode where I haven't learned anything. I'm always curious to see which members share my views and which ones present opposing views in such a way that my position in a debate becomes confused. What I also love is how the podcast has expanded beyond Resident Evil to discuss other popular gaming franchises to keep things fresh and interesting, but still manages to keep Resident Evil at its core. I think my favorite kind of visual episode is Tear Death Experience on the YouTube channel. It's fun to watch those little square icons getting dragged around the ranking board, especially when people who stubbornly held firm end up changing their minds or compromising. The First Aid Spray podcast has been a landmark moment for me. It is through the podcast I have discovered people with so much passion for the games who bring new and interesting perspectives to the games I love. A big thank you to everyone who is involved in the podcast. It has not only relaxed me on long walks, but people involved have made me feel at home in the community. I also still have lots of episodes to catch up on.
I really can't believe it's been 5 years since this little podcast that could started. I, of course, came in a little late. The way I discovered it was actually a hacker got into Cyniac's Vlogniac account. So at the time, I messaged her on Twitter just to warn her about it. Then, as I engaged with her on Twitter, that's when I discovered the podcast. See, at first I was hesitant to join the community because I really didn't know anything much of Resident Evil beyond playing 5 many years prior to that, and of course the Anderson movies. That's really all I knew, and I felt like I wouldn't belong. Eventually, of course, I did just suck it up and just dove right in, and I couldn't have been more wrong. This community's just been so welcoming, and it's just, there are just no words to describe how amazing this community has been. I mean, because of you guys, I have found a family, so thank you so much. Happy anniversary. Hopefully 5, 10, many more years to come still, and many beyond wherever this project goes, of course. Love you all.
Hello Pueblo people, Ferdinand here. Congratulations with the 5th anniversary of the First Aid Spray podcast. 5 years ago, I found a shop on the internet that sold a Resident Evil board game. A Resident Evil board game? How does that work? I needed more information, so I was searching the web and found the First Aid Spray podcast episode 6. Wow, I need this board game. 4 months later, I found all expansions, including Praise the Mod, but without the doors. But more importantly, I found the podcast and really love that there's a dedicated group of people talking with passion about my beloved Resident Evil. I have heard every episode at least 4 times already. Because of this community, I came out of retirement of collecting Resident Evil items. Now 5 years and 700 items later, including the missing door, I had to move to a bigger house to put this all away. Yes, you're to blame for that. Also in these 5 years, you made over 100 episodes of content. 75 of them unnumbered, so I think they must be canon. I can't wait for the years to follow, listening to the live recordings of the discussions about Resident Evil 9, the Code Veronica remake, the remake of the remake, the Infinite Darkness, the beginning in the Comic Club episode, the review of the Resident Evil 4 the board game, the announcement of the revisited Resident Evil 2 the board game, and many more items including the Resident Evil movies. I love you guys and keep up the good work, and to you Steve, when are you going to do some voice work? If you like, we could start a Praise the Steve campaign like the mod to Capcom. Cheers!
I would describe the First Aid Spray podcast as absolutely singular, without peer. Simply the best Resident Evil podcast we could possibly hope for. And even if there was an alternative, bah, I wouldn't bother. I took a punt on First Aid Spray years ago when I was needing something to listen to when walking to work, and I'm very glad I did take a punt on it because it's genuinely a very good podcast. Very good podcast. Thank you guys very much for all the content and everything you contribute to the community. It's good vibes. It's great vibes. I love it. The community, lovely. I've been on the Discord for years and everyone's very, very warm, very welcoming, very friendly, lovely people. I don't know how 5 years has gone by. Don't know if I like that. That doesn't really sit well with me, but happy birthday all the same. You guys are great. You guys are great.
And now, reading Kay Lovechild's testimonial is once again Choji Akamichi.
When I first discovered Resident Evil, the concept of a safe room stood out to me. Surrounded by danger and the unknown, it was the one place where you could stop, rest, gather items, and assess your situation before heading back out into the thick of it. Fast forward into a year into the pandemic, and I very much found myself in the thick of it. Between the constant anxieties that came with being an essential worker and growing list of responsibilities, I was determined to find something to help make the time move forward just a little smoother. By a complete stroke of luck, what I found was the First Aid Spray podcast and its Discord. I've always felt welcome in this community, from the tidal wave of greetings that met me on my first day to now. Whether it's engaging conversations we have about our favorite pastimes, the hangout streams that regularly occur in the voice channels, or getting to experience the podcast live. This place has been a wonderful experience. No matter how things out in the real world are going, it's a place where I can stop, rest, gather my thoughts, and pull things together before I head back out. This community is a safe room, and I'm glad I found it.
Happy 5th anniversary First Aid Spray. Congratulations on this incredible achievement, and here's wishing to a further 5 more at least. Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Hey, this is Infinity Phantom wishing the First Aid Spray podcast a happy 5th. I probably came across it, I have to say, back in 2019, just before Thanksgiving, or at least I remember looking for some more Resident Evil themed podcasts, and I remember the night of Thanksgiving or right before, at one of my old jobs, having to stock stuff on the shelves before they opened up for Thanksgiving. But since we could listen to our phones in the meantime, I just loaded up and listened to everything that was backlogged at the moment, and just been enjoying my time ever since. And heck, now that's why I call Survival Horror has been one of my most replayed playlists on YouTube. So here's to hoping another good 5 years for you guys, for all you. Thanks for so much for doing all this.
Well, what else could be said that hasn't been said already? So I guess nothing else remains for me but to thank everyone involved in this project, as well as everyone else in the Discord and the Plevo people, of course. I mean, this has been such a fantastic ride, and I can't wait to see what else is in store for the future. So I guess at this point, thank you and have a good 5 years.